Okay, we're going to take a moment, find a nice comfortable place to sit, get your tea or coffee or any warm drink, and let's just sit here and reflect and discuss about the philosophy of how can you find your inner peace? How can you connect into a quiet time? And if you are feeling always overwhelmed, depleted, stressed out, doing so much for other people, I think that this moment of us connecting and chatting, mindfulness tea time with me, Monica, that might feel good to just hang out and listen to like the topics of the day, that little nuggets of wisdom that I've learned over 30 years. Let's just have a moment and enjoy. So let's face it, I've been doing this for over 30 years of learning to start connecting within myself and practicing over time, learning to practice maybe more of a mindful way of living. And as I got older, I was just, I needed to find some tools. And I thought that maybe, taking time a few times during the week to discuss with you guys what's it like to just hang out and like I do with my friends, talk about our philosophies, the philosophy of life, how we share different ideologies of how to nurture ourselves. And I thought I would share, some books that I've read over the years, and kind of go over a little bit of some practices, because any tool that you can pick up, which I will share with you, will give you a little something that you can maybe, implement in your day. And, or maybe you're asking, what is this? Like, meditation. How do I meditate? I can't meditate, Monica. I hear this all the time. I can't meditate, Monica. And I look at ways of just doing things in small bites, small little moments. And I find it much more tangible, easier to process. It's not overwhelming. And I know that if you're listening to this, you are overwhelmed. You probably are. You're probably looking for some kind of relief or release. And it's not about pushing things away. It's about practicing acceptance. And some of the stuff that I study and practice is from the Buddhist practice. I have yoga practice, but the Buddhist philosophy is a very simplistic way of taking things, breaking it down. Less is more. And this is like stuff that I hope that you will resonate with. And also, maybe you have something to offer from me, or you have questions. In the future, I'm going to be doing some lives, and when that happens, that'll be great, because then we'll have more interaction, and I could answer your questions right on the spur of the moment. But for now, if there's any comments that you have, just send me a comment. I'll respond back to you, and that will also give me more fuel or material to have these discussions. Let's take another time. I'm going to just contemplate on what we're going to talk about today. You can hear my dog pitter-patter walking by. So in the morning, one of the I would say foundational things that you can practice is starting your morning in a quiet space. And I know that if you have young children, that might be a little tricky, but if you can wake up a little earlier, just even 10 minutes, can you imagine that 10 minutes of quiet time? And in that, you just wake up, you just sort of kind of like, oh gosh, this feels good. I'm going to take a breath. I connect to the breath. I connect to myself. You connect to, you notice, just check in. Don't look at anything else. Just take that in. And if you have some material to read, then, that is like has a spiritual base to it, or philosophy of mindfulness. And I wanted to share with you, I'll be throughout, the other future videos, I'll discuss other material that I've read and recommendations. And I'll link the 2 books that I have here down below. And this one I really, really have been enjoying. And it's I'll just give you a little bit closer look. This is 365 Tao daily meditation. I would say meditation or reflection. Taking a pause, whether it's in the morning or throughout the day, just when you have your coffee. If you could start to implement a little bit of no distractions, meaning can you not, listen to things when you're having coffee, or if you do want to have, if you do want to sit down, just like we're doing, then it's something that is feeling, it's nurturing, it's enriching your soul, it's enriching the way you live. And I love reading chapters, and it's not even chapters, it's just pages from here, that it gives me food for thought. It lets me reflect on, something to think about, keeps me grounded, and it allows me to not be so self-absorbed into the stories that I might create. And imagine we start the stories in the day, in the morning. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? We start futurizing. And practicing mindfulness and being in the present moment allows you to settle into yourself. I'll get more into what it's like when you go into practices into a quiet mode. But for today, for now, I was just going to discuss one of for today's, like, it has actually a calendar in the back that you can follow with the dates, which is kind of nice, and it goes along with the seasons. And this practice is an old Chinese practice. And it's, kind of in the same alignment as Buddhist. Tao is kind of an alignment of Buddhist practice in a way. And it's not that I follow a Tao practice, but it's really about how you can be aware of your actions, be aware of your thoughts, being the observer of what's going on within you and around you. And it allows you to step away from that. And then Tao is means that living, like, what is life, the meaning of life. And so it's quite deep, but when you break it down daily, it's not so heavy. So for today's reading, I was going to share, it's about accomplishments. And I'll read it out, and then we'll kind of discuss it, and again, please feel free to send me some comments and your thoughts on what I'm going to be reading to you. So, accomplishments. The more you cultivate, the more you accomplish. Why doubt? When distance separates you from others, they cannot overtake you. I'll just continue finishing this. In the beginning of training, it may seem as if you are doing very little. You compare yourself to the teachers and more accomplished people, and you may despair at ever reaching their levels. But if you are diligent, then it is inevitable that you will make something of yourself. Once you reach such plateau, you will be able to relax a bit and contemplate where you are on your journey. I like that, contemplate. So it's kind of coming back to contemplating where you're at. And in order to contemplate, it's teaching you, that word is teaching you to just come in to a present moment. So in order to contemplate, you need to be present. You need to be aware of what you're noticing, of all the accomplishments. And accomplishments also too is what I like to do is it's kind of the practicing gratitude. So gratitude, another point is practicing gratitude in the morning when you wake up. One of the things that I'll do is like in the morning when I wake up, grateful to start the day, find a few things that I'm grateful for. But also when I do my meditation, I give thanks to my practice as it nourishes me, as it nourishes others. I need to nourish myself, just like as we're just taking care of plants and, feed ourselves, nourish ourselves, be well. And then you are able to fully nourish and help others. So I will continue just finishing this reading. One of the most refreshing things to realize is that now have something that no one can take away from you. Spiritually, it's yours to keep, yours to touch. No one else can gain access to it, yet this precious accomplishment can sustain and guide you. It will give you increased health, and it will give you knowledge that you could not gain through normal means. Once you tap into this source, you have gained a foothold of the spiritual path. Okay, there's a few moments in here. Spiritual path. So I think from the beginning, from a young age, I always hungered the spiritual path. I felt it as a little girl. And it's the big thing, the meaning of life. Some people want to go on that spiritual journey. If you're listening to this, if we're having our tea time and chat time, then you are curious about your spiritual journey. You are asking yourself, in order for me to feel that inner peace, how do I do that? How do I find the ways to connect with myself, with my spirit, or the divine, or the universe, whatever your beliefs are? And the other thing I really liked was about the health, how one of the things that I noticed was the more I practiced yoga. Of course, people say, yes, of course, at all of these Tai Chi, yoga, different types of Eastern practices, you start to, just like an athlete, you need to take care of yourself, you need to eat well, and there's a whole different levels even in the Buddhist practice of our thoughts being healthy, how we take care of ourselves. So what we think, what we hold on to, what we let go of, all of the things, all of our actions become what becomes healthy for us. So the spiritual path is really the more, I would say, deeper you go into the studies of a spiritual path, your well-being starts to shine. Doesn't mean that we might not get sick or things might happen to us. All of this is not avoidance. All of this is not, it's actually, Tao is about dealing with life. It literally is, it's like life is here, life is happening right now. And it's being like acceptance of what it is happening. So right now, I am comfortably sitting, having my tea, comfortably, as best as I can, having a conversation with you, and being grateful right now that I can read some of this old, very ancient scriptures, and how things have not changed in certain ways. And that is the dichotomy of, our fast-paced life, things moving faster and faster, but at the same time, it's a very mystical feeling to be able to, I always feel like there's almost like magic in it, because things moving really fast, and then yet when you come into a meditative moment state, time holds still. It just kind of just floats. And you can do it. You can do it slowly as you practice little mini micro moments throughout the day. Or, you try to be mindful of it as much as you can. And then you're going to see it just becomes a little bit more comfortable, a little more comfortable. So something to just think about right now, just to reflect on that. So the last part of this writings of accomplishments is uncertainty will not plague you. Who can argue with you, right? Who can argue with you? You have seen it yourself. So once you have reached this milestone on your journey, it is proper to rejoice a little, indulge in a little contentment, then take up the journey once again. So rejoice in a little bit of contentment. Yeah. I have that more often now. I would say, as I generally practice this philosophy, because even on the days that I find I'm really, if I'm feeling tired, maybe I'm not feeling well, I can still appreciate that I'm here, that I'm nurturing myself, that I'm doing the right thing for me at this moment. Paying attention to signs, things that just pop up. I have a moment that the other night my daughter and I, we were taking my dog Daisy out for a walk, and I call it the bench park we go to. And so we sat down, and my daughter says, "Mom, look," she says, "look at the stars." And being in the city, you don't see them as well. So I looked up, and she said, let's make a wish. So I made a wish about, bringing in certain abundance into my life. And I really hope this works out. Just keep it flowing, keep it coming. And of course, there's always gratitude when I try to kind of combine the two, the gratitude and the wish at the same time, and manifesting something. And then, then you just let it go. No attachment. You put it out there, And it was really, again, that was a special moment. Just that in itself, it was special in the sense that my daughter paused as well. She has learned this practice of being in the moment, noticing. Look, she got to notice the stars. Feel the air. The night was beautiful, and the moment was precious, and we just had that, right? We just had that moment. And so we did that. We sat up and made our wish. And I'm not joking, the next day it came true. It just came true. There was some money that I was asking for to come in, and sure enough, it all came true. And I was that rejoicing at the end. I was rejoicing because if I have faith in every day that how things process, even if I feel that part of me being human, being like, I could feel discouraged, but then I remind myself, no, I'm okay, I'm good. And I want you to have those experiences as well. So this is why I want to spend these times a couple of times during the week doing these chats, these like mindfulness tea chats, and really just bringing up different discussions. And the other book that I've been kind of again, I'm going to link them below, but is The Monk's Guide to Happiness. Now, I was kind of trying to think of a title to talk about coming up, like, how to live a monk's life in high heels, right? Meaning how to live a monk's life in a contemporary world that we're in. And, mindfulness is, for me, been the answer that, and it's what has worked and it's working. And what I love about this particular monk, Gelong Tubten, I apologize if I can't say his name properly, but Tubten, I think, Tubten. He brings it into our modern time. And this is important to incorporate the practices that the old ancient practices into the now, what works. And sometimes when we study the old practices, we just say it's not realistic. I mean, look at the way the world is now. But he's very relatable to teaching, what it's like. I mean, what is it like? How do you meditate in a busy city, right? How do you meditate when there's construction going on outside? Or how do you find your quiet time when it's noisy, or the kids are running around, or you're at the office and there's a lot? You learn, and you can incorporate, and I will be helping you along with that in other segments that we'll be discussing. On that note, I wanted to say that the next tea time, mindfulness tea time chat, we're going to talk about from surviving to thriving. From surviving to thriving. And I'll be talking about the core teachings of the Buddhists, the Buddhist core teachings. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro on, and then we'll have a discussion about that. And I will share with you what it was like for me. I was just surviving, and I literally am thriving. And each time I have this opportunity to share with you and hear from you, then I know that we are thriving together. So stay tuned. Check out my other videos on meditation, inner peace. I will link them below. And I wish you a blessed and beautiful day. If you really enjoyed this segment, comment and share. I would love to hear your feedback, and enjoy the rest of the day, and enjoy your quiet time with your tea.